Hello, Boyd Team family. Merry Christmas. December is normally the time of year that Mandy and I come to you guys and talk about what our goal setting looks like for next year. And it's something that we've done for the last 7 years or so, where we take intentional time away from family. We go away and we talk through what our goals are for next year. What do we want to accomplish in our business? And what do we want to accomplish personally? So we're talking about what books we want to read, some physical or spiritual goals that we have for next year. It's a great time just to talk through and really get on the same page about what our goals are, and also to be able to encourage each other throughout the year as we're looking to hit those goals. Definitely conversations we encourage you guys to have. Whether you're an individual or whether you're a couple, it's a great thing to sit down intentionally and figure out what you want your life to look like next year. And so if you want more information on what that looks like for us, would love to share what we do to have those conversations and to really be intentional about what we're doing next year. So give us a call, send me an email, would love to do that. I'm going to take a slight deviation from that just because I've gotten the same question over and over for the last month. And that is, Justin, what do you feel like the real estate market is going to look like in 2021? We've seen prices shooting up really quickly. We've seen really high unemployment. You've got COVID. There's so many questions. And I think a lot of this, especially the unemployment, is making us think about 2008. And a lot of people are scared of foreclosures and what is the market going to look like? Is the market going to depreciate? There's a lot of fear out there. I will start out by saying that GDP growth has been negative for the last 2 quarters, the second and third quarter. And so officially, the last 6 months has been a recession. And so we can look at that and say that was a recession. What we can look at on the positive note is that April, May timeframe, we were looking at 14, 15, 16% unemployment. And most of the leading analysts were saying that we were going to be above 10% unemployment for at least all of 2020. And most of them thought that a majority of 2021, you'd see over 10% unemployment. Now, in October, thankfully, we're down at 6.9% unemployment. So all of those analysts were wrong, and that is a great thing because the economy recovered way more quickly than they thought. As far as that relates to real estate has really been one of the bright spots in the economy this past year. We've seen appreciating home values, and then we've also seen really low interest rates, which has encouraged buyers to remain in the market. In October, we got the Greenville numbers for October. Greenville, the average home sold was over $300,000. That is the first time ever that we've had a month where the average home sold was over $300,000. And so that is just leaps and bounds above where we were last year. For the year, average home prices are up over 9%. Now last year we were at around 6%. We had inventory around 3.2 to 3.6 months of inventory last year, and we appreciated at around a 6% rate. Since 2016, we've been below 4 months of inventory. Now that's supply. When you talk about supply and demand, months of inventory is the number of houses on the market. That's the supply of houses. And so a balanced market is generally going to be somewhere between 5 and 6 months of inventory. And you're going to see about a 3 to 4% appreciation if you have 5 to 6 months of inventory. Again, we've been below 4 months of inventory for the last 4 years, and that's led to 5 to 7%. This year, we were on the same path, being around that 3 to 4 months of inventory. We were actually trending upward to around 4 months of inventory. And then March hit, and you just had sellers that decided not to put their home on the market. From March to October, there were around 1,000 houses in the Greenville market that never made it on the market. And because of that inventory being down around 25%, and then at the same time, you had 16% more sales in the MLS. And so 16% more buyers, 25% less listings, supply and demand. That meant that there was nothing available, and so prices went way up. To put that into perspective on the months of inventory scale, let's see, I've got May through October. You had 2.9, 2.6, 2.5, 2.3, 2.3, and 2.1 months of inventory in October. And so again, we were at 3.5 last year, really averaging between 3.5 and 4 for the past 5 years. And so that's the change. That's why we're at 9% appreciation over 2020. Now, this lack of inventory and appreciating prices is one of the major factors that you can look at and say this time is very, very different from 2008. In 2007, September, right before the crash happened, Greenville MLS was reporting around 8 months of inventory. Again, we're at 2 right now. They were reporting 8 months of inventory, so we were already in buyer's market, and you're also seeing increasing unemployment. And then some of the bigger numbers, and really the main reason why this time is different, is that in 2008, 28% of all mortgages were either at or near a negative equity position. And that means that the owners owed more than what the house was worth. And so when it comes time to sell, you lose your job, you can't make the mortgage payment, and you have to sell, but you owe more than what it's worth. It's almost impossible to sell. You can do a short sale. There are possibilities with that, but it's just very, very difficult. And when there are a lot of those out there, people had to walk away from their homes because there was no out. It was either bankruptcy or foreclosure, really no other option. The difference in 2020 is that, again, low inventory, you've had appreciating rates, and so right now, 28% of all mortgages owe less than 50% on their mortgage. 39% of all homes are owned outright. They have no mortgage on them. Now that 39% is compared with only 27% in 2008. So people have a lot more equity in their homes now than they did previously. In 2008, again, when you lost your job, you couldn't make the payment. You also couldn't sell the house. There was a lot of inventory. You owed more than what it was worth. It was a bad situation all around. In 2020, if somebody loses their job, they have to sell the house. There's almost no inventory. Prices are appreciating, and so you get to walk away with cash in your pocket. You can go start over somewhere else. There are a lot of different options there. You don't have to go into foreclosure and bankruptcy. And so most of the leading analysts don't see any way that we go into any kind of foreclosure crisis like we did in 2008. As we head into 2021, I do see a really strong market in Greenville. Lack of inventory is going to keep that appreciation rate around that 5 to 6% probably. And most leading analysts have updated their projections for 2021 and really do feel like that we're going to see 5 to 6% appreciation throughout 2021. Now, one thing I am watching out for is a plan that Joe Biden's talked about, and that is a plan to offer a $15,000 first-time home buyer credit to try to encourage first-time home buyers to be out purchasing homes. A similar plan was done in 2009 and 2010 for an $8,000 first-time home buyer credit. Now, while that does accelerate the market initially, it's kind of a false appreciation that happens because if a buyer could afford a $200,000 house, but they couldn't afford the $210,000 house, but all of a sudden got $8,000, they can afford that $210,000 house. But at the same time, pricing adjusts quickly as well. And so the person that was selling their house for $200,000 can now get the same buyer if they listed at $208,000. And so there was a rapid appreciation that happened over the course of a year in 2009 just because of that there. At the same time, the bill required the homeowner to stay in the home for over 3 years. And so if you say it was 2 years later and you had to sell for some reason, you haven't had a lot of time to make appreciation in your mortgage, and so you still owe pretty close to what it's worth. And then at the same time, you have to pay back that $8,000. And so you had situations where some homeowners actually owed more than what it was worth because they had to pay back the $8,000, and they didn't have that. This time, we're bringing that forward to $15,000. And so if that does get put in place, there will be a great market for probably a year while that's in place. But once that $15,000 is taken away, like the $8,000 was in 2010, you're going to have a lag in appreciation as the actual market catches up to where that false market was because of the $15,000. And so just something to keep an eye out for. Not something that's going to affect us immediately, but as it comes into play, will be something we keep our eye on. 2021 is setting up to be a great year in real estate. If you are looking to buy or sell, it is going to be just a really great market in Greenville. We have a beautiful backdrop and very low cost of living, and so there are a lot of people moving here from out of state They've been able to go remote with their jobs. And so we have become a really good landing place. And so if you're looking to buy or sell in 2021, we would love to have a conversation with you and see how we can get you from where you are to where you want to be. That's our favorite thing to do, is just to work through your plans and do what's best for you. So give us a call if you need pricing on anything, or if you need to figure out what the best paint color is for your house. We love to help out with anything related to that. So do give us a call. Have a Merry Christmas. If we can help out with anything, let me know. Talk to you soon.